Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Has the pullback started? I think we have some big charts to speak about. The first one is the total 3. The total 3 is still 20% away from the next resistance. Bitcoin's already here. Bitcoin is already here, if not slightly higher. And I can show you very much if we look at the total chart, the altcoins are lagging. Now, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy because we look at the last day to the last week of the market and you have the altcoins looking like this. But according to the chart, the altcoins are still behind quite a bit. Now, it makes sense. Dominance has been going up for a while. I think the big question is, we can see very much that the altcoins are poising themselves for, I don't know if even though that's the right word, for a pump, for a catch-up. A catch-up point. When does that dominance turn and when do we have a true altcoin catch-up, right? And you can see very clearly, Bitcoin is way above 200-day moving average. Ethereum is way above 200-day moving average. Altcoins, a lot of them are still below 200-day moving average, which is quite crazy right now. And that's why we're fighting a little bit of resistance when it comes to the altcoins. But as soon as they clear this part over here, this important higher time frame indicator, I'm expecting a huge altcoin surge that gets them up to crazy levels. We've seen Bitcoin that's blown our mind over the last few days. But now the big question is we do have RSI sitting extremely high right now. Does the altcoin surge come first and then a pullback, or we're going to have a pullback and then have a continuation? Because it's nothing can sit here and say that the market has not turned extremely bullish on the higher time frames. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm showing you the points at where I'm buying back into the market with my trading portfolio, where I'm setting to buy Bitcoin back. But if the pullback doesn't happen now, what is the trend line and what is the indicator that means emergency buy, get in? I don't think it's Bitcoin. I think it's altcoins. I think there's a few that you don't want to miss out if the market explodes now. But if the market does pull back, we need to set ourselves some incredible buys. We're in that powerful thing, the powerful understanding that the market is going to try to trick you. It does make you want to FOMO. We're all sitting and feeling like we want to FOMO right now, which is a big thing. I'm here to protect you from that. I'm here to help you with that. Let's get some better buys if the market pulls back now, which we do expect is going to happen pretty soon. We have that. We have the Dixie on support right now, and we have tons and tons and tons of different altcoins to go through. No more wasting time, James. Let's get into the show, and then let's get into the chart.
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click, click, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Click. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click, click. Enter the sniper. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam. Why is my screen on? James, I'm going to ask you again. Please don't put my screen on when I'm about to do my intro. What's up, guys? Hope you're doing fantastic. I had so much energy on Saturday. Now I'm feeling like, wow, what a weekend. These bulls are driving me crazy right now. You can't tell me you're not confused. I think so many people are confused right now. And that's why I'm here to help you guys with the charts, because we may be confused ourselves. But one thing that I've always learned is I learned to take profits in the green and buy the damn red. And I'm going to keep sending that message on with you guys. So we have a big journey to go through with each other. But it feels like I'm back. It feels like we're back in action. And I feel like we're going to have a fantastic 2023. So if you're brand new, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button. Remember, guys, we have 2 massive promos. We have the Rolex promos. If you have a look below in the description, you will find a ByBit Rolex promotion. And what this is, if you sign up on our exchange link and you take a trade, it gets you an entry into winning this beautiful, beautiful Rolex over here. Incredible, really beautiful. I'm enjoying having it in my hands. I'm going to miss it when it's gone. And then what we have is, you look in the description below that, Bitget now have given us the next Rolex. So if you sign up with a Bitget account and you take a trade before February, it gives you an entry to win the Rolex. I heard there's a bird, maybe a third one's even coming. Maybe even a few Louis Vuitton and a few Gucci things are coming too. Maybe. But I want to show you, this one is slightly more my favorite because I think I can wear it with more outfits. Here we go. Here is the next one. Guys, these are valued. I think this is about $50,000. These two Rolexes sitting here together. This is the next one, guys, for Bitget. If you open a Bitget account and you trade, the more trades that you take, the more chances you have to win the actual thing. So remember, if you look in the description, you have the Rolex for ByBit or Bitget. And then we have AGIX and Binance and any of the exchanges that you want to open for yourself. You get trading or discount fees and all these sort of things. And then the big one, if you have any of our exchange links, you've signed up on any of them, we have Discord, which let's see if it'll open right now. I'll get that logged in. Otherwise, I will show you guys now closer to the end of the show as it's busy logging in. If you have, if you're in our VIP section, which you get from being in our exchange links, you get all of my trades. I'm showing you tons of altcoin charts today. And if you go into the VIP section, you get Sheldon's show charts, and you can go see all the charts, all the levels, all the prices, because sometimes you may not see it on screen or you may not catch it perfectly in time. So that is all there on Discord for you guys. Let's jump into the charts. So the big one, obviously, is the total 3. Now, let's speak about a few things quickly first. We do obviously have a massive push in the market. This is many green candles now on a daily. So we know at some point, usually when there's many green candles, you're going to see a badass big red candle come at some point. And it's probably going to be fast. It's going to be fast, guys. It's going to catch you off guard when you think the markets, it may even be a fake out. I saw Bitcoin was breaking a flag this morning, giving us hope. I'm thinking, ooh, maybe we're going to have one more leg up first. And then you can see that red candle just comes out of nowhere. So expect a red candle any day now, and a big one. Now, it may not be one that lasts for too long. It may be a very big, fast red candle, and it can get bought up really quickly. So the best way to do this now is with our trading portfolios. We've been taking profits. I've been saying taking profits for the last few days now. Is we're going to set limit orders in play in these areas. So if that fast one happens, it's basically going to come down, take our orders. And then what I'm expecting is the RSIs to make its way down. Come down fast, go sideways for a little while, get the RSIs down from where they are. Now, let's actually go through the charts and let me show you what I'm currently seeing. If you look at the total market cap, now for me, it's quite interesting. It is giving us a point where we could still pump more first before pullback. Okay, so we have two options. Either we're going to have the pullback first, and it might be a small, quick, not too crazy, kind of a big red candle when you guys are zoomed in. This is daily. So if you jump on the 1 hour, you might get quite a fright. But we basically have the total market cap that broke the 200-day moving average, which is a huge one, something we haven't been above for a very long while. And remember what I said previously is because the market has set this high reputation of exploding so quickly right now, now it's got to put its big boy pants up and it's got to hold these levels to keep this momentum. If we're going to start this momentum, we want to keep the momentum. So now that we've crossed this 200-day, we want to hold it. Very important, we want to hold it. Now, don't think that think about it. The whole of the market is long right now. Everyone is FOMOing back in. We can see everything's going crazy again. So everyone is there. Don't be surprised. Maybe there's a wick that slightly goes below that, but we still close above the 200-day moving average. But ultimately, we've crossed this, and this is a big high time frame indicator. Now, what we haven't hit yet for me with the total market cap is we haven't hit a true major resistance just yet. We've hit a small one, okay? And this is where we're currently battling right now. But for me, the next one is in this area. So the way I sort of paint the picture of this is either we're going to have a smaller pullback first before the big one. And the smaller one for me is something that goes here, a test now, and then we shoot up to this one, and then a possible bigger sort of pullback. Now, I'm going to be bullish too, and I'm going to speak about the higher levels now, secondly, with Bitcoin. I'm not here to sit and just be bearish. Screw the bearishness. I'm here to protect you guys and make sure that we buy on specials and we don't get too much FOMO into the market because they've trapped us. We remember last year, right? We remember 2021 too. It was a crazy year together. But ultimately, this might indicate that there's one more push-up. And for me, it would be the altcoin push-up. It could possibly definitely be the altcoin push-up because it doesn't make sense that Bitcoin has taken itself to such high levels, But because the altcoins haven't joined it just yet, we still have this under 200 day, and we don't have the total market cap at that main resistance point just yet. So that's quite interesting. Then you go to total 2, and you can see that this is starting to cross the 200-day moving average. There's the next resistance. There's a small one over here, but the major one is up there. This is because of Ethereum. Ethereum is involved when it comes to the total 2, and Ethereum is obviously doing incredibly well as well throughout these times. And what we're waiting for is the total 3. Now, let's jump into the actual crypto coins, and let's have a look at what's happening here. So firstly, dominance going crazy, right? Dominance even broke up a bearish pattern, broke out. There we go. It's flying right now, and it's doing really well. And ultimately from here, you know, if we are going to have a little bit of an altcoin catch up at some point, I expect this to come down slightly. Here's the 200-day moving average over here, but I'm still seeing more upside in the dominance. Now, I didn't think for the last few weeks that dominance will go up that much just yet, but what it is pointing to is dominance should go up to around 45 to 46%. Now, if this is the case, it's good for the market because it means full force back with Bitcoin. And it means the strategy of always understanding that the market resets and it starts with Bitcoin and it gets all the money into the market and then it flushes the altcoins is still very, very, very strong. And if we have this dominance make our way up to these levels and we have a bullish Bitcoin, it's a really good thing to get a lot of money into the market. And then it's going to get flushed completely into the altcoins and we're going to have a massive move. So if I had to go bullish on the dominance, I would expect something like this. I would expect us at some point, there might be small little pushes down and that will get the little altcoins to pump. But ultimately, I think we go up to these ranges. Maybe there's a possibility that we actually respect this channel that we've been in for a while. And you can see this channel is basically where dominance goes from 40% to 50% to 40% to 50% to 40%, possibly to 50% again. So it's quite crazy. It's quite crazy to see how strong Bitcoin is right now. But to be honest, we were getting to such low levels in the last few weeks. Good. Bitcoin, come back, please, because the market's too weak when you're not powerful. Get powerful, get us where we need to be. So that is a good sign. And just remember, the reason why dominance is not pulling back right now, in my opinion, is because Bitcoin's high is not in just yet. I don't think 21.3 was the high just yet. Maybe there will be a small pullback. I'll go through that shortly, but I think there's higher targets. Now let's go through Bitcoin's targets for a moment and let's actually have a look. Before we look at the bearish or the downside, let's look at the upside. Let's look at Bitcoin's roadmap in order to get back to the crazy levels. Now we had the original chart, and the original chart for me, which is starting to play out incredibly well. And it is this chart of the, this is the log. It is the chart of the 396 days bear market. And this is usually where we get a market low and we continue. So I will remind you again that this is playing out really well. And it does show us that there's a possibility of a 30 to 35K Bitcoin that can happen first this year in the first 6 months. And then we go into really, really boring phase, shakeout phase, any of these. So we're still on track for that right now, which is really good. Now, let's jump back into the levels of where we're seeing Bitcoin's current move going to. So right now it's fighting a big resistance. It is the resistance. Guys, this was before FTX. We've literally come all the way back from FTX levels, and now we are back at that high again. And what's beautiful about it is we also hit the top. So we did not make a lower high, which is incredibly good. We basically hit it as a double top or anything like that, which is good. This basically informs that a pattern could be playing out for me. But I want to explain to you. We have the first level now, 21.4, right? Then after that, the next resistance is 22.8, basically 23K. After that, we have 25K. And then after that, we have the big one, which is the 28K. And then we have one more after that, which is 35K. So these are the next big levels. Now, if you have a look at these resistances, what's interesting is these are areas that I expect fight. This is areas that I expect when price gets there, it's going to fight a little bit in any of these areas because they're big resistance points. But what's beautiful about them is gaps. Now, we saw short squeezes of crazy short squeezes over the last few days. And that happened when we crossed these critical levels, these previous highs and these previous lows. And when we do get that, we fought here for a day or two. But remember, we also fought here previously. So we have had fights here before. But as soon as we break through that critical level, you get these huge squeezes. So end of the day, this box would have actually been there too. Let's actually put one. So I can explain this to you because this is where it gets really interesting. So ideally, that's where the box was. And as soon as we broke through that, look how price just accelerates. Now, what this chart gives you and the information that it actually gives you, it's very important, is it gives you gaps. It gives you the big gaps when you can expect huge fast pumps when we through these crazy levels. So don't be surprised when we get to the first resistance here that we've hit it a little bit and we get rejected. And this is where it gets quite volatile. Never be afraid to take TPs at these points because it gets quite crazy and it can make your heart go absolutely mad at those times. But after this, that's why the little push that Bitcoin had in the last 24 hours now in 21.4, we've got the slight rejection. If we get through that level within today or the next 24 hours, I'm expecting Bitcoin to shoot very quickly to 22.8 to 23,000, which is crazy. If we get through that, I'm expecting a huge push to the upside. Now, the way I want Bitcoin to play is I actually wanted to do this. I want it to come here now, then go up here, then there. Then come here now, here, and then there. That's how I want Bitcoin to play this. If it just goes, and this is crazy, if it just goes from here all the way there, yes, we're going to have euphoria. We're going to be absolutely going berserk. But for me on the high time frame, it ends really bad. It ends us having a really big retracement. Maybe not going lower lows just yet, but this just gets really ugly because we just go in a straight line. So we want Bitcoin to slow and steady make its way up like this. But what's great about this is now you know the areas and when you can expect the pop. So what it means by this is we expecting pullbacks too. But if we're at these areas and these charts start forming flags and we break these flags, it's indications for you that you're still able to get in on those breaks, and you must put your stop loss under this area nice and tight, because as soon as we get through that high, there's going to be a push to this area. But know that we're going to fight there if we do get there. So you understand when to take TPs or when to protect yourself to that level. And then it's the same thing. If we make our way up here and we form a flag and we end up breaking that flag, great. Because where's the next push to now? The next push is a huge gap. So at least now you know the big gaps. Now, why is it important to know the gaps? It's to know, are you not sitting here right now with FOMO and being like, I missed half of it or I missed any of these things? If you know where the big gaps are and you see us breaking flags and breaking resistances of where that gap is, you will now know, holy shit, we're not going to pull back just yet. Here's a flag we're breaking. Let me get some in that point because I can still get this big move over here. It's very important to understand it because now you know where the big moves lie. The big moves lie right now between this push over here and the next one is this big push over here. And then it's the juicy one. One that I'm hoping that we get through soon is this big one over here. This is one where I'm expecting the market to absolutely go wild. And that would be a run from 25 all the way to 28. Now, I expected this move, but I expected it then before we had the FTX crash. Remember when I said 21, 30K, we haven't tested 35K. Then we can go down lower. It's fine, but we haven't gone to those levels. This is still the big one over here. And if we look at one more level above, so I'm talking about the upside now, and I'll talk about the downside shortly. Then after this, we have the next crazy level. And the next crazy level takes us to these levels up here. Look how huge that gap is there too. Now, I want to explain something when it comes to crypto. The hard part is this part. This part, it can flow through pretty quickly to the upside. The hard part is to get Bitcoin from 16 back to 23, back to 24. That's the hard part. For Bitcoin from 24 to 35 is the easy part. Why? Because everyone wants to buy Bitcoin again. Everyone's euphoria again. No one wants it at 16, but they all want it now. Everyone wants to buy and get into the market now. So it gets easy because just money just flows in irresponsibly, left, right, and center, very, very simply throughout those times. So it's very important to understand, keep taking profits at resistances and keep buying the strong pullbacks. Now, let's speak about the pullbacks for a second. Let's go into the pullback territory of where Bitcoin. So what happened recently? We broke out of this resistance trend line, right? This trend that we've been pulling down for a while, we finally smashed through it. We smashed through the 200-day moving average on Bitcoin. So for me, big boy, broke these levels, it must hold these levels. So my first support, and this is probably one I'm expecting if it's a small pullback, if we pull back now, I think it's a small pullback. I don't think it's the big one just yet. I think we pull back fast now. I think it liquidates a bunch of longs. It traps a lot of people. They panic sell out. And from here, I basically see us come down to 19.5 fast. And then from here, make our way to the 23K, and then possibly the big one that can come down to the AG. This is just the one view. But we have two major supports on Bitcoin. And these are two areas I would, if I was you, I would focus on looking to buy. Now, what's great about this is because dominance is going in Bitcoin's favor, the main chart you're focusing on Bitcoin, you still have the altcoins that you want to buy. But when Bitcoin gets to buy zone, you can buy some of the alts. Do you see how it works? You don't have to chart all 20 different altcoins now. If dominance is going up and it's in Bitcoin's favor, it's all following Bitcoin. If Bitcoin bounces here, everything's going to bounce. Bitcoin loses that area, everything's going to dump. So it's beautiful. But the two major areas for you to pay attention to, and the first big one we want to hold is 19,500. After that, we do have a possible 18,200. Now, the only way the 18,200 can play out is, for me, is if it's playing out this pattern over here. And this is basically an inverse head and shoulders, where we had this previous left shoulder over here. We broke out now. We come down and we test. Not only do we test this trend line, we also test the 618, which is from the bottom to the top for Fibonacci. And we come and test the support over here as well. So three areas are pointing to me that if this plays out now, and we have the aggressive pullback now, 18,200 is there. Now, I still think we have a daily close above the 200-day moving average. I just think this is a big liquidation hunt. So for me, if I'm looking to accumulate Bitcoin now, I would have some cheeky limit orders sitting in these areas over here. It's the second scenario and maybe the unlikely one, but definitely the area on where the charts, I have three indicators that are showing me that possible pullback. Now, let's start going through the actual charts and let's go through Ethereum. So Ethereum, for me, the high is not in just yet. Now, maybe there is a small pullback, and the pullback does take it to around 1450, so $1,450. But for me, it's not high enough. It hasn't hit. I still think there's more legs from Ethereum. And then I'm basically seeing this. I'm seeing maybe there's a small short-term pullback happening now. So around the 200-day moving average is my buy area, 1,400. It is a 7-8%, maybe 9% drop from where we are right now. I think it happens fast. And after that, I'm seeing us go to the 1,700. Okay. Then possibly either we rocket straight through to $2,000. You heard me right. Look how big this gap is over here. Or we pull back, make the right shoulder, and then we go through to those levels. Now, when we broke these big 200-day moving averages, it gave us an indication that we could be running in this momentum for the next 3 months, guys. 3 months. So this is where you need to nail down and get the entries and stuff properly and not rush. Don't rush. It's not going anywhere. We're breaking all the high time frames now. But one thing you do need to worry about is the RSIs are high. So TPs now on your trading portfolios, don't be afraid at all. There's time. There's a lot of time. You know, we're breaking the high time frame structures. So don't rush yourself with that either. But for me, ideally, the $1,370 to the $1,400 for Ethereum is my buy order. That's where I'm getting ready. Now, I know guys are going to sit there and be like, oh, so if I sell now, I literally got to wait like a couple of days until I can get my buys again. I have some trades for you guys, and I'll go through them shortly. I'll definitely go through. It probably is on the short side for some of them, which we need to be careful. We know shorts are getting hit hard right now, so we need to be very aware of that. But reason why, again, I'm saying Ethereum, guys, is because we have that beautiful retest Ethereum to Bitcoin on the high time frame on this wedge over here. So I still think this is an incredibly good opportunity. If you get Ethereum at 1,400, I think you're going to make a lot of Bitcoin. I think it's going to perform better than a lot of altcoins. It's going to be more consistent when the market drops. It's going to do really well when the market goes up. So if you haven't got enough Ethereum in your portfolio, pay attention on the next pullback. Then you look at things like BNB. So this is where it gets crazy, guys, because now what we're going to form, and this is how you're going to trade it. This is easy now. This is actually easy. So right now, pullback should be in play. And this should come down to $270. So percentage-wise, 8%. Let me drink some water. 8% pullback on BNB. But there's also a humongous gap. And you're going to see this on a lot of altcoins. So chart all your altcoins and then. But what you have here is you have two tops on the 4 hour. and you have a beautiful trend line. Okay, so we're expecting us to make our way down to this buy zone. You have an emergency line. Now, why do you have the emergency line? Because if you have a look here, the next gap is huge. Now, I spoke about gaps. Gaps are great because it gives you an indication of when big moves are coming. We know total 3, if it breaks 200-day moving average, the altcoins are going to rip at any point. We're going to have a huge altcoin surge at some point. We definitely are. So what we're doing is right now you're being patient for more buys. You know, you're getting more tokens. They're getting them a lot cheaper than what they are currently right now. You're not chasing the pump. You're not FOMOing in. Because remember, dumb money is flowing in right now. We need to take money from them. It's sad, but it's true. Okay? So I'm expecting $270 pullback. But if we break this trend over here, I can start dipping my toes and I can put my stop loss on the previous low. But I want to be in. If the market decides to wake up now and we start to pump again, I want to be in before we break this high because that's the big move over there. I want you to put these trend lines in play. If we break that earlier than our buy zone, it means we're not coming here just yet. We can come here later. We're first going more to the upside. This is where you learn the skill, guys. This is where it becomes nice and interesting for yourself. So you have an emergency line in play because I saw the 4-hour RSIs are getting to the bottom. So 4-hour bottom is getting to the bottom. The 12-hour daily and 8-hour are still in risky territory at the moment. But BNB, I think you want BNB. I think the FUD around Binance is gone. And I think if you can get BNB around 270, I think it's going to be great. Because after this, remember, I have the 2 plays now. Either BNB from here shoots there, and then we have the pullback, or we come down over here and then shoots there. But either way, I'm looking at BNB go to $360 on the next strong push when we have that total 3 breakout. So big move from BNB, definitely. We then have the interesting one. Now, this one's interesting, guys. It might be quite crazy. Okay, but we have Solana. Now, Solana is obviously breaking crazy territory. It has not hit the area that I wanted to on the high. So I'm still expecting Solana to go higher. I'm expecting it to go to $27. And then we even have a possible $32 to $33, which would be insane. You know, they'll be back past FTX levels, which will be crazy for Solana. But we have the 2 scenarios. The first scenario is the market pulls back now and it gets smashed. It comes back to around $17, $18, $20. And then we go to $27. Or from here, we shoot up to 28 and then we make our way back down. Okay. Now I'm tracking this because this is one of my tokens that I'm thinking short. I am thinking short, but only once I'm confirmed that the market's obviously making its way down. And the way I'm doing this is currently we have it slowly going up, slowly going up. And ultimately it is forming a bearish pattern. You know, it's not a bullish pattern, this uprising wedge like this. It is a bearish pattern. Now, right now it's still holding this really well. And I spoke to you guys about doing a live trading session on Monday. When this breaks to the downside and I'm confirmed, I'll do a private session on Discord. You get sent the private Zoom link for anyone that's in our VIP, and we're going to trade this. We're going to trade this together and have some fun, right? Because for me, this is a big one. I'm currently short in a theta position, but Solana, this is a big one. And if I have a look over here, you know, I'm basically looking at a 26% short to make some money. So you have a choice now, guys. If I jump back, I got tons of altcoins, so don't go anywhere. If you're an experienced trader and you've been through wars with me and you understand how to trade, the only way you can make money when this pullback happens is some shorts. Not crazy leverage because the longs, the market's powerful right now, but you can make money. If you're inexperienced, don't short right now. Don't short. Take your profits and wait for the buy zones. Don't get trapped. So please categorize yourself. Are you slightly experienced or you're inexperienced? Don't try shorting if you don't know just yet. First learn, guys. Otherwise, it's going to hurt you. But Solana's a big one. I'm seeing it come back down to $16 to $18 when Bitcoin comes down and tests that 200-day moving average, if not lower. So this for me is my one trade that I'm prepping for now. As long as it's holding support, you know, there might be some small longs up and down. It may do this for a little while, but ultimately I'm waiting for the big short on Solana. But anyone that wants to accumulate more Solana, between $16 and $18 is my area that I want to accumulate more of them. If we have to have a look, we haven't even made our way to 200-day moving average in Solana just yet. So it's crazy. Solana can still have a lot more legs currently than where it's at. Now, let's speak about AVAX. Now, apparently a lot's going on here, and apparently it's looking pretty good. It's fighting the 200-day moving average right now. That's why we're struggling at this area. It's a high time frame sort of view. But for me, the high wasn't hitting just yet. Okay, and that's around the $20 region. That's sort of the area. After that, we have the two major zones. The one is the 21, and then we have a huge gap to 29. So that's the big gap you want to catch in. So if you think this move was big on AVAX, we get through these critical levels. The big one is still to come. But for me, the buy zone is here, $13 to $14. That's where I want to buy it. It's too risky for me for this little move over here versus what I could lose. Risk to reward is terrible. So I'm being slightly more patient with this. If you do have a look on the 1 hour, you will see a trend line, emergency trend. If you want that little move, there's your trend line in play. We break this. You basically do it like this. If this goes here and it breaks, you put your stop loss over here. Where can you expect it to go? To this 21K. So you can get yourself a nice little 20% pump and make some money. So you're always just putting your stop losses in because you know a big dump is coming at any point. So you buy it on the break, you put a stop loss in play, and you'll take TPs at around $20 to $21 on AVAX. But if you want to buy it for the bigger move, the next one that I'm seeing going to around $30, I'm looking at around $13 to $14, which is crazy. It's still another 20% lower than where we are right now. And we got the Chainlink pump. This one for me is only just, Chainlink is going to be one of the bigger pumps for me in the next one. It's still below 200-day moving average. That's why it's not moving. It's taking its time. It's not doing anything right now. But look at the next targets for the next move. So if you felt FOMO and you felt like, oh, I missed the whole thing, you haven't missed anything just yet. The bigger ones are still to come. Just don't mess these up because then it's going to get hard to make money if you've messed these up. So be very aware. Right now, we are currently fighting 200-day moving average. So that's why we're not getting anywhere. For me, my buy zone's $6.1 to $6. That's where I want to get if we pull back first. And then basically what we have is the same thing. We have a nice little trend that is forming here beautifully, which will probably be in for a while. They'll probably do this for a little while, and you have that little break. Now, if we have a look at where it can get to on the next one, is I'm looking at around $7.8 to $8 as the next push for Chainlink, which is a good one. $7.8 to $8 is a good push. And then we have the 9.1 after that. That's the big one. Because if we look at currently, if we get to this buy zone over here, you can be looking at a 54% growth within Chainlink on the next one. For me, right now as it stands, $6.1 is where I want to buy. You do have that trend line, but ultimately there for this move over there to catch the next big one. So I think it's going to be a strong mover. Then we have Uni. Now, Uni for me is also one of the big ones. And if you have a look, I see my trend slightly went off play. This is one that is currently breaking the 200-day moving average. And this is interesting because what we basically have is we have two resistances. We have this one that's around 7.7. So if the market decides to go up now and Bitcoin breaks that wedge to the upside, I'm expecting Uni to be one of the stronger movers. If Bitcoin does pull back now, I'm expecting it to go to 5.6. So it will still dump. It will be a fake out. It will come back in this trend. But for me, that then is the strong buy, 5.6. Now, why? After that, I have the next target, which is around 9.3. So if this one plays out where we have the dump first, I'm expecting a move from here to get us to this area over here after that. So Uni for me, Run's been talking about it a lot. And chart-wise, it's starting to match up. It's a 72% move on the next one, which is pretty big. So ideally, pullback, that's the first area I want to buy. If we break, it's the same thing. If you jump on the 1 hour, we'll be forming a trend as well. We'll be forming a trend line if it breaks earlier than that. But for me, if it does break that, it only goes to around 7.4 and then the pullback and anything like that. So Uni is another big one. Neo Protocol, toppy for me now. 1.7. 1.7 is my buy zone. Is crossing, let's have a look at the daily. Still far from 200-day moving average. So I'm expecting pullback and then a push to those areas. So the next one's 3.3, guys. Look how big the next gap is. If I can buy it there, that would be a great move for me on the next one. 95%. Guys, the pump we've seen now, the big one's still to come. Total 3 is still under. RUNE, TP stage for me now. Take profits now. Buying back at 1.467 because look at the next move. That's a 100% move for me on the next one. So I just want to remind you again that this is the most important chart you need to be focusing on. So total 3. Until we're above 200-day moving average, you have time. Take profits on your alts, buy pullbacks, buy the correct levels. but be in by the time we break 200-day moving average, because that's where the big move happens. That's when we really accelerate to the higher levels and the higher entry. So we have that. So you have time. I just want to remind you on that. Cardano is the next interesting one. It is ripping pretty strong right now, but 29 cents to 30 cents is where I'm expecting to buy. Then what's interesting is we have the 200-day moving average. So either we go there first and then pull back, we can decide. But we got 41 cents. And after that, then we go to the 60 cents. Then we go to the high level. So for me, if you're a Cardano person, don't be afraid to take profits now. We haven't broken any higher time frame moves just yet. So don't expect crazy. Until we're above that, I'm not afraid to take profits on Cardano. Fantom obviously ripped. This is one. There's the 200-day moving average. So remember, either you're selling at 200-day moving average now, and if it breaks it, it's fine. You buy it back on the retest, or your coin's already broken 200-day moving average. Now, if your coin's already broken 200-day moving average, it means it's above the rest. It means it's on Bitcoin's level, because Total 3 hasn't even broken 200-day moving average just yet. So if you have a token that is above that, expect that token to be the big mover right now. The ones that are still below 200-day moving average, expect them to lag at times and to get rejected hard too if the market pulls back. So for me, Fantom is the next one that I want to catch around 26, 27 cents. I want to buy it at support because this is great. Now, let me show you again the gaps. Here's the first one. We got through that one. We have another one. Okay. Then we have one more. This is your time for you to learn, get ready with the market. Then we start the big daddies. Then we start the huge moves. So Fantom, I think, can make you, if you trade this correctly this year, you can make a lot of money with Fantom. Look at that gap. That's the big one. This is the time for you to get in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. That's fine. But we got to get ready for that big move over there because that's the big one. And then look at the next huge gap after that again. Take that up. There we go. There's the next huge gap again on Fantom. So for me, Fantom is still one of the biggest ones. I saw we had a ZIL pump. So ZIL is interesting because what it's basically doing right now is it's starting to break this trend, which is interesting. So if I take this trend over here, see what it hit. It hit the 200-day moving average exactly. So until it's above that, don't expect craziness. Expect some resistance here. But after the 200-day moving average, you could see what it did the last time. It literally did. Use this, guys. It's a very simple little tool. But last time it literally did 200% after it hit that. So you can see ever since then we've been dragging below it. So now we've broken the first one. So slightly bullish. Yes, tick. Keep your eyes on ZIL because it's ready. And above the 200-day moving average, expect it from here to make its way to this area, which is basically to this resistance over here. And this would basically be from 200 to 55% as the first, and we'll obviously detect the rest over there. Now, what do you guys want me to chart? Because I spoke to you guys last week, and I told you gaming. I hope you got it. Where did I say? I said break a trend, right? So if you did buy my break a trend, you would currently be sitting in 62% profit on Decentraland. If we look at Sand, I said break of trend. So you would currently be 20% in profit. These will retest. Gaming, guys. Gaming, I think, is still going to be a big one. Vulcan Forged, if you got my buys over there, you'll be sitting around 35% over there as well. So wait, these are looking to pull back as well. But the 200-day moving average is such a friend of yours right now. Expect it to go there until we're above there. Take profits. Very simple. If we look at Decentraland, possibly breaking right now. So for me, I'm selling at this point, and I'll buy it back on that area. Let's look at AI. Because AI, like I said, I think AI was a big reason that we started this. Look at AI. Definitely take profits if you haven't taken profits already. But I think AI definitely brought in money. It definitely brought in excitement to crypto again. Look at AI. Absolutely exploded for us. So what I'm expecting on the next pullback is I want some gaming. I want some DeFi. I think DeFi, SushiSwap, and Uni, I think are big ones that we want to be a part of. I think BNB as well. I'm focusing on Matic. I'm focusing on Link. I'm starting to diversify again when it comes to not so much my long-term. Ethereum, I'm like so bullish on Ethereum for my long-term right now. But I do have a possible 2-3 coins that I have in my long-term. But trading, I'm like diversifying a lot. So make sure you have a balanced portfolio. I want to sum it all down. We're looking at a possible pullback in the market, and it could start right now. If it does, 19.5 is the area that we want to hold in the first pullback. I still think Bitcoin's top of this leg is around 23, and then a decent pullback possibly to 18. But I still think there's more upside. And the big thing is Total 3 hasn't broken the 200-day moving average just yet. So Total 3 is explaining that the altcoin run hasn't even happened just yet. So set your limit orders low now and expect the pullback. Get ready for those to buy in because it's get hard to log into your accounts again. It's going to get tough at those times. If we decide to break up before that, there's a few coins that I showed you guys with that trend line. But only expect 10 to 15, maybe 20% up from there. And then a pullback, and then we continue. Just don't get trapped in the cycle, guys. I'm with you guys through all of this. I'm having fun again. Love you all. Remember, we have the 2 Rolexes. ByBit, Bitget. If you use any of the exchange links below and you trade there, it gives you an entry. And the more trades you do, the more entries. Have a fantastic day. As soon as there's action, I'll be back online and we'll hit it again. Much love, Fantom.